Hey everyone, and welcome back to Zeroscape 999, where last time we finished up everything beyond door 5 on our current route. Specifically, we finished up the casino. I've gone ahead and skipped through the interim dialogue, as we have seen all of it before. Technically, there was some dialogue which I would have liked to have shown in this route, but I did not want to spend... It would have been hard to show that dialogue without spoiling that it was the important information. Unless I did all of the dialogue again, which would have been another 2 episodes and no one would have liked that. So, we're just gonna have to say it's fine, and you'll just have to hopefully remember the things that happened in the interim. Not that it's particularly hard. There's not too much complicated things that happened. We made our way out of the casino. We found our way down through the Venus Gate to the hospital room. Found that the Reds were deactivated, met up with everyone, searched for the Red parts, and by the time we got back and found that the Reds were repaired on their own, Snake had gone missing. We searched for Snake and talked to everyone. But we could not find Snake anywhere, and so now Hayes has knocked himself out with an anesthetic, and the rest of us have a choice of which door to go through. There are particular details through that entire sequence which may or may not be important, but again, it would be 2 episodes to go through all of that for perhaps just a couple lines of dialogue, when you could perhaps remember it on your own. Now then, we have a choice of which door to go through. There is only one door that I have been saving that we have not gone through at all on any route. It is finally time to take care of door 8. I think I'm gonna go with door 8. Okay, Santa, your voice broke my tongue for a moment. Okay, 8 it is. Yeah. Alright then, that means June's gotta go through 7. What? Why? What? Santa grimaced and muttered angrily to himself, but finally began to explain. If the 6 of us are gonna keep going without leaving anyone behind, there's only 3 ways we can do it. Plan A. Go through 7 with 358 and go through 8 with 467. 5 and 6 are separated. Plan B. Go through 7 with 457 and go through 8 with 368. 5 and 6 are separated. Both of these have us going through door 7, which we have not chosen. Plan C. Go through 7 with 367 and go through 8 with 458. Again, 5 and 6 are separated, and that means we are going with Clover and Lotus. That is good. I do want to keep a bit of an eye on Clover and make sure she's doing okay to the best of my ability. And that's it. Those are our only options. In other words, 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 can never go through the same doors. You get it now? As Santa finished, June looked over at Junpei, tears welling up at the corners of her eyes. Oh no, you're saying that we aren't going to see each other again for a long time. Junpei felt just as June did. He wanted to be at her side through whatever trials they were preparing to face. But he knew if they were to survive, he had to swallow his feelings. In order for the 6 of them to move forward, he and June had to be separated. He looked at June. He was scared to lose her, but he swallowed, sealed his resolve, and did his best to smile. Hey, come on, you're making it sound like we're never gonna see each other again. We gotta split up, but only for a while. This is just like we went into the 4 and 5 doors, remember? We got split up then too, but we all met back up. I'll bet 7 and 8 are just like that. You mean they're connected somewhere? Yeah, probably. Probably? She didn't sound very hopeful. Probably was probably not the right word to use. Probably. It was 7 that interjected. I'm sure they're gonna connect somewhere. Why? What makes you think so? If they don't connect, then neither team can get through door 9. In other words, the game would end right here. Zero's been on top of his shit so far, except for the Reds going broken for a while. I don't think he'd blow it now. I'm damn sure that son of a bitch wants to have his fun as long as possible. He's not gonna end this game until we go through the 9 door. June said nothing. The tears were gone, but her eyes were still sad as they looked at Junpei. He met them and with what reassurance he could manage, laid his hand gently on her shoulder. Everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna see each other again, I promise. June bit her lip and gave him an almost imperceptible nod. Yes, promise? Her voice was barely above a whisper. Santa's voice shattered the moment. You guys are done, right? He stretched and continued. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Clover and I will both go into separate groups. I figure I'll take 7 and Clover can take 8. Not like there's much of a choice. There was only one option where I go through 8, and I chose 8, so... Any problems with that, Clover? Clover looked away and was silent for a moment. Whatever. It was more of a dismissal than an agreement, but Santa didn't seem to care. Alright, we're ready to go then. Let's move! At Santa's command, the group split and headed for their respective doors. Santa, 7, and June walked toward door 7, while Clover, Lotus, and Junpei headed for door 8. For a long moment, they stood in front of the door. Then, Lotus laid her hand against her chest and turned to Junpei and Clover. Are you ready? Yeah. Yes. Then, shall we go? The door had opened. A narrow hallway stretched out before them. Lotus and Clover leapt through the door. The moment they did, their bracelets beeped. The detonators in the bracelets had been activated. Junpei stepped forward to follow them. But as he was about to step over the threshold, he stopped. He looked to his left, toward door 7. June stood there, a mirror image of Junpei. She turned and looked toward him. Their eyes met. They nodded. Their farewell took almost 1.5 seconds. Then someone took hold of Junpei's arms and hauled him bodily through the door. He heard the sound of the numbered door slam shut behind him. His bracelet gave a cold electronic beep. 81 seconds left. Hurry! Lotus snapped at him and ran to the dead. Junpei and Clover followed her as fast as they could. Phew! It stopped. With a shaking hand, she wiped a few beads of sweat from her forehead. Clover, however, was calm, aloof perhaps. Pointless. She muttered to herself without emotion and began to walk down the hallway, leaving behind a confused Junpei and Lotus. Lotus watched the girls receding back with a mix of frustration and curiosity. What an unpleasant girl. I bet she's not very popular with the boys. Her sarcasm seemed a little more biting than was perhaps necessary, but she sighed and started after the younger girl. After taking a moment to catch his breath, Junpei followed. The hallway made a number of turns before at last coming to a dead end. Set into the wall on the left side was a large iron door. For a few minutes, they stood in front of the door, examining it. Above the door was a plate with the word laboratory engraved on it. A laboratory, huh? That doesn't sound very pleasant. I don't like the look of this place. Me either, but there aren't any other doors. It's not like we have a lot of choices. Junpei? Huh? Please, you first. Junpei suspected her politeness was motivated by something other than respect. Junpei muttered to himself and pushed open the iron door. His first steps inside were tentative and careful, but as he examined the room, it became clear that there was no imminent danger. Lotus followed him in, and Clover brought up the rear. The room they found themselves in was divided into 2 separate areas by a curved wall. A thick glass window built into that wall made it possible to see into the other side of the division. Junpei walked to the window and looked through. What the hell? He wasn't sure what else to say. Oh goody, another mannequin! In the center of the room, shaped like a quarter circle, a mannequin lay on what looked like a medical exam table. That looks so creepy! Junpei jumped a little. He hadn't noticed Lotus come up next to him. You don't think that thing is gonna suddenly sit up or something, do you? Well, I don't know. I mean, look at all those cables sticking out of it. If we press the wrong button, I don't know. Stop it. Just thinking about it is terrifying. You're the one who brought it up. She was gripping her arms, the knuckles on her hands white. It was then that Junpei noticed Clover. She was still standing near the entrance of the room. Her face had the appearance of calm, but it was drawn and somehow sad. There was something almost pitiful about her. Junpei walked over to her and, as kindly as he could, spoke. "Are you okay?" Clover looked away. "What are you talking about?" "What? I'm just worried about you. You've been real quiet." "What? I can't be quiet if I want to?" "Well, I mean, of course you can, Okay then, if I can be quiet if I want, just leave me alone, okay?" "Come on, you know I can't do that. We gotta work together." Clover bit her lip and was silent for a moment, then suddenly, "Junpei, you just don't get it!" Her cry took Junpei by surprise and he stumbled backward a few steps, alarmed. "My brother's not the kind of person who'd just leave me behind. Something happened to him. Something bad." Junpei had nothing to say. Lotus, jolted from her mannequin nightmares by Clover's voice, turned toward them. "What happened?" Clover's eyes slid to Lotus and back to Junpei. "Look, just don't bother me, okay? Leave me alone." Finished, she turned around. Before Junpei or Lotus could say anything, Clover had begun to walk quickly away. "Hey, wait, Clover! Hold on!" He might as well have been talking to a wall for all the notice she took of his cries. Not even slowing down, she made for a doorway cut in the wall in front of her. Without even slowing down, she passed through the doorway. Oh no. And without warning, an iron gate fell from the ceiling like a portcullis. I feel like there's supposed to be a U after port there, but I am probably wrong. Like a portcullis sealing Clover in. Whoa, what the heck? What's going on here? Clover grabbed hold of the iron bars and shook them as hard as she could. "Hang on, I'll get it open." Junpei grabbed the bars and pulled. In a moment, Lotus joined him. The three of them pulled as hard as they could, but... Damn it, it's not moving! Wait, are you just gonna give up just like that? No, I'm not giving up. This has gotta be another one of Zero's puzzles. If it is, then there's gotta be a way to open it. Junpei nodded. Just what I was thinking. Now, all we gotta do is find it. Lotus and I can look around out here. I'm so tongue-tied. How did I just combine their names? Clotus? No, Clover. You're gonna have to see if you can find anything in there. Oh, yes, I'm on it. Whew, I'm really tongue-tied today for some reason. I'm so sorry. Okay, well, this isn't good. Clover is trapped, so we're gonna have to take a look around the room and see what we can figure out. I guess first, we can take a look around here. We've got, oh, this opens. Ethanol. How about anything else? I guess that's all there is. Lovely. Whole bunch of steel lockers. It's the 9 on the right, all have little red lights on them. Red lights, huh? Well, it can't hurt to give these babies a try. Yep, just as I thought. Loctite, all 9 of them. I wonder if there's anything important in there. That seems likely. We've got a computer over here. This is the computer. The power isn't on. Well, there is a power button. This is a waste of time. What? I don't see a power cable. Oops, yeah, you're right, no power cable. This thing isn't even connected to a main computer, though. It's got a monitor, keyboard, mouse, but that's it. Just sticking the power cable in isn't gonna do anything. Oh, I don't know about that. Okay, so we need to find a power cable. Nothing below. How about over here? We've got... There are 2 levers here. Do you think they activate something? Well, why don't you move one? All right, I'll give it a try. Nope. Doesn't look like anything's happened. Lovely. How about down here? We've got a keyhole. This looks like a keyhole for the activation key. Okay, so we're probably gonna need that before anything else here. I think this thing's supposed to power that machine in the other room. Well, it doesn't appear to be doing that. I wonder how we're supposed to turn it on. Probably need that activation key. Alright, how about this rack over here? There's a lot of stuff here. I don't know how we could use any of these. Well, I can say for sure that I do know how to use at least one of these things. Which one? The one on top. I think it's a power cable. The power cable, huh? I'll take that. Awesome. That'll be helpful for the computer monitor. Okay, these doors look like the exit. So let's head over to the monitor and plug it in. This monitor doesn't have a power cable, so one end of this cable needs to be connected to a monitor, and the other end needs to be plugged in under the desk. Alright, let's just slip you in. Huh? Well, shoot, I can't use this. What's wrong? This cable has 3 prongs, but the socket only has 2 holes. It's not gonna fit is what I'm saying. In other words, we're gonna need a plug to change the power cable to one with 2 prongs. That's right. Depending on which end of the cable needs to be adapted, that could be a huge safety hazard, but oh well. Not much else over here, so let's see what Clover can find. A window made of really thick glass. I don't think even a bullet could break it. Let's check from this side. Alright, Clover, what do we got in here? We got the horrible machine. Is this like an examination table? There's a creepy mannequin in here, guys. Yeah, I see it, Clover, I'm sorry. I don't know what kind of table this is, but part of it's all black. There's a pen lying over here. I think someone probably used it to make the table black. Well, if they only use the pen on one part of it, there's probably something underneath all that pen. Clover, do you think you can erase it? Yeah, sure. Oh, this is permanent marker. Junpei, do you know how to erase ink from a permanent marker? Erase ink from a permanent marker, huh? Give me just a minute, Clover. I'll be right back. Alright, before we do anything with that, it's a rack. There are a bunch of cables on it. Somebody cut the outer stuff off the cables. I can see the wires inside. That's not great. Copper wire exposed. Okay, how about, there's a sink back there. I wonder what they washed here. There are these weird colored stains all over the sink. Don't like that. We got the machine next. Hey Clover, how are the power cables over there? Huh? What do you mean? Does the plug have 3 prongs or 2? I don't know what you're talking about. Let me go look. Guess she does have to kind of crouch down to get a look under there. The cable on the monitor has it's got 2 of those little metal things. What does that mean? That's it. Okay, can you unplug that cable and bring it over here? Okay, but, well, I can unplug it, but it's connected to the main computer. I can't take it over to you. Darn, damn it, that's no good then. Well, how about just the plug? What? The plug? Well, maybe more like a connector. It's the sort of thing that makes the plug with the 3 metal thingies into a plug with 2 metal thingies. Shit, that is exactly the safety hazard I was worried about. Okay, still, it's better than nothing. Still useless? Not useless, not useless at all. That's just what we were looking for. Okay, can you hold on for a little bit? And back down she goes. Alright, unplugged. I'll hand it over to you at the bars, okay? Okay, let's go get that adapter. Here, the 2-prong plug. Thanks. Oh god, yeah, that's a nasty safety hazard. Oh dear, never ever ever do this. So here's the issue with this. That little round plug, okay, we're using US connectors. This is a US power plug. So if you're not in the US, this probably doesn't apply. The third little round plug at the bottom, that is the ground. That is an important safety measure. Basically, if something goes wrong with the electricity in whatever device, the ground can be used to discharge extra electricity, so there's not like big electrical sparking or anything like that. Typically, if something has that 3rd prong, it probably needs that 3rd prong for safety reasons. Not every device needs that ground prong. Many devices are simple enough that they don't need it, but you never ever want to adapt away the 3rd prong, the ground prong, if it's there. That's incredibly bad to do. Okay then, thank you though, Clover. We're just gonna have to work with this and hope nothing goes wrong. As long as the monitor doesn't have an electrical freak out, then we should be fine. Okay, put the 2-prong plug onto the head of this power cable, and we should be good to go. Alright, I've got the 2-prong power cable in my hand. I'm pretty sure this will work. Under the desk I go. And let's just plug this thing into the monitor. Alright, that ought to do it. Alright, let's turn the power on. I don't think anything's gonna happen. Why not? Well, it's not connected to the main computer. You never know until you try. Pretty optimistic. Junpei pushed the button on the front of the monitor. With a soft hum, it turned on. Streams of letters that made no sense to Junpei began to scroll across the screen. He had hoped it would turn on, but he hadn't expected this. Huh? It's actually working? So it would seem. Isn't that kind of weird? What? Well, it's not connected to the main computer, right? There's just this keyboard and monitor. The only cable connected to this thing is the power cable we just plugged in. So why is it working? Maybe it's a wireless display. Clearly this was a reasonable explanation to Lotus. Could also be an Apple Macintosh, since a lot of those do have the entire computer integrated into the monitor, but maybe? A wireless display? Yes, it connects to your computer wirelessly. Hence the name. Have you been living in a cave, Junpei? He most certainly had not, but is that normal? Yes, at least where I worked. Huh? As I spoke, the lines of letters suddenly stopped and disappeared. The only thing left on the screen was the word pass, followed by a colon. It looks like we need to enter a password. Again, there must be a hint around here somewhere. Could you go take a look? Yeah, I'm on it. What are you gonna do? I'll see if I can do something about this on my own. On your own? Yep, on my own. Lotus pulled over the nearest chair and dropped herself down onto it in front of the keyboard. For a second, she stared at the screen. She kneaded her hands, knuckles popping, and twisted her back left, then right. Alright, let's kick some ass! Lotus smiled to herself and rubbed her hands together in anticipation. Then, before Junpei had time to blink, she was typing at an incredible speed, the click-clack of the keys running together like machine gun fire. What? Junpei was for once at a loss for words. Didn't expect that, did you? Of course I didn't! What kind of job do you have? What are you? I'm unemployed at the moment. I used to work for a cybersecurity firm, but I quit. Why? Lotus blinked. Huh? Oh, it was just something. She stopped typing for a moment and her face fell. This was not an avenue of questioning to be pursued, Junpei realized, and quickly shut his mouth. I've got a feeling I know what it is. I don't think it's ever been confirmed why she quit, but I've got a hypothesis that it has to do with information we learned beyond door 3. No, sorry. In the door 3 route, it was beyond door 2. Lotus's fingers began to move again, and in a few seconds she was back up to speed. As she typed, more letters and symbols that meant nothing to Junpei began to pour across the screen. What are you doing now? I'm gonna try and brute force it. What? A brute force attack is... Well, the short version is that I just attack the thing head on. The long version... Without looking up or slowing down, she began to explain. A brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher, she told him. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time. The thought of doing something like that made Junpei feel tired, but Lotus explained that she was writing a program that would run just such an attack on its own. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly, but given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do. Yeah, it would take a while to decode exactly what kind of encryption is on the password, and then to unwork that encryption to find the password itself. That would probably be unreasonable. Even as she talked, her fingers never slowed or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little odd. Oh, but back to what we were talking about earlier. What were we talking about? The wireless display. It's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? Huh? How do I put it? Well, let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you. All right. So you enter 1 plus 1, the screen will show you 2. See, isn't that strange? No, not really. Oh, come on now. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago. Huh? You're just not getting it, are you? Who calculated 1 plus 1? The main computer, right? You said it's connected to the monitor wirelessly. Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right? They'd probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating. And once they've decided that, they'll start examining the monitor. They might poke the screen or something. Ah, I see, that color changes when I press it here. Don't do that, that can damage the crystals. Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Ah, I see, so this wire supplies power. Eventually, they might even cut the wires. Ah yes, just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear. Therefore, it must be this device which does the calculations. But the truth is, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating. But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly. Lotus continued to type. Junpei scratched his head. So, what are you trying to say? Nothing, really. It's just, I thought maybe. What if the relationship between human brain beings and our brains is like that? Huh? Well, let's say you stick a bunch of electrodes into parts of the brain. A scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting, so stimulating this part of the brain causes this person to see colors. That must mean that this neuron cluster controls that function. Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part. Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease. Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. You get it? It's just like this monitor. Maybe the brain is just an output device, like this monitor. Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else in a main body. We just don't know it. We'll never even think about it. Just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications. We can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains where we experience that information as thoughts. Junpei didn't say anything. Not so much because he had no retorts. No, her argument just seemed silly, and he was a little surprised to be hearing something like it coming from someone like her. The brain is just an output device? Human thought actually occurs somewhere else. Did Lotus really think that, he wondered? It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. It sounded altogether too much like a bizarre cultish religion. Maybe that's the cause of Seven's amnesia. Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus continued. If memory is actually stored somewhere else in some sort of main body somewhere, maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged. Okay, so this was just a roundabout way to accuse Seven of having brain damage so you could insult him. These two need to chill and get over their weird spat, fight, whatever's going on. I suppose that would explain as aphasias and blindsight too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing. Wait a minute. What? He knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV, and blindsight was easy enough to guess, but he never heard the word prosopagnosia before. What, you've never heard of prosopagnosia? I have it? Well, I have a mild form of it, and it's very fucking annoying, let me tell you. Lotus spun around in her chair to look at him. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head. Nope. What is it? Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human faces. In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours. So they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. In my case, it's not so much that all faces look actually, you know what? No, all faces do kind of look the same. If I pay attention to like specific details and ignore the fact that it's a face, I can kind of pick out like specific details, but it'd be like, oh, I'm actively thinking about the fact that their nose is this particular shape or their mouth does this particular thing. Like, I have to remember very specific details because the face itself is just a generic face to me. It's very weird and very annoying, and I fucking hate it. That means that people with prosopagnosia can have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things, their voices, their clothes, their hair. Does that mean that other people's faces look like blanks? No, not blanks. Not blanks at all. No, I don't think so. You've seen monkeys like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same. Even though they've obviously got faces, it's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys, eventually, but you or I couldn't unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart. That's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia. Prosopagnosia, huh? Didn't even know that kind of thing existed. Yeah, it's annoying. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to meet up with my partner somewhere in like a busy area, and I see her, and I'm just like, is that really her though? Like I usually have to, like Lotus said, I usually have to look at the hair in order to be 100% certain. It's annoying, but you can live with it. Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head. And what were we talking about? The idea that your brain is just an output device like a monitor. And are you serious about that stuff? Not really. I was just kidding for about half of it. What about the other half? Well, I guess I was just adulting. I like Lotus. Lotus is seriously one of my favorite characters. I adore her. Listen, she's a computer programmer who's also a hot lady and a mom. She's literally my goals in life. Who doesn't want to be a MILF programmer? She's fantastic. But seriously, it is a fascinating thing to think about, as much as I don't believe it's the case. Like with a wireless monitor, even if a cave person did not understand wireless communications, the wireless communications components are still present in the monitor. They could find it, identify that they don't recognize what that is or what it does, and investigate it, and maybe eventually realize, oh, this is doing a wireless communication. If it was the same with the brain, there would be structures in the brain or some sort of interactions going on in the brain which maybe we don't understand at first, but we could eventually identify that kind of communication happening. You would think. But then there's so much about the brain we don't know, so maybe. Extremely unlikely, I don't believe it, but if it turns out there's evidence that I'm wrong and that is actually how it works, then well, I guess I just gotta accept it. Not funny. Lotus's smile had something rather masochistic to it. It's nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously. It was the first thing that came to mind and I just talked about it to kill time. But it looks like I don't need to talk anymore. Why? I don't have to kill time any longer. As she spoke, Lotus raised her right arm and brought it down on the enter key. The program took only seconds to analyze the system. Chunks of tech flickered on and off in quick succession, and then a line of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. Alright, Lotus, it would not have taken this long to write just a simple brute force program. You definitely did a lot more than just brute force. The screen cleared, and all that was left was the word accepted. Heh, piece of cake. Lotus would have clearly patted herself on the back if it would not have made her look extremely ridiculous. After a few seconds, the accepted disappeared to be replaced with 9 squares arranged in a 3x3 square. What the hell is that? No idea. It looks like a puzzle. Suddenly, Lotus stood up. Huh? Aren't you gonna, I don't know, do more computer stuff? I can't do any more. It won't let me do any more programming. See, the keyboard. Nothing. So there's nothing more I can do. Well, I guess I'll leave this to you then, Junpei. What? Let me take a break, all right? Yeah, seriously, she just wrote an impressive program in the span of a few minutes. I did my part. He wasn't sure what to say to that. She certainly had done her part. In fact, without Lotus, they probably would have run completely aground. I shouldn't rely on other people so much, Junpei thought to himself. From here on out, he told himself he would rely on no one else. Junpei crossed his arms and stared at the puzzle shown on the screen. So we can find the solution to this puzzle elsewhere in this room, but you don't need to. This is a bit of a classic type of puzzle. You push a button and the buttons next to it will flip. I believe We want to do here, here. Nope, I was not quite right. It's not a... Oh, my goodness, we only are allowed 4 touches. Got it. All right, it's not a hard puzzle. I just haven't done one of these in a while, so it might take me a moment. I could do this. Perfect. Key lock open. All right, I solved it. Did you hear a noise just now? Yeah, I did. It sounded like something unlocking. I noticed a bunch of green lights behind you, Lotus. Where did it come from? I think it came from right here. Look, Junpei, the lights on the locker are green. Then we must have unlocked it with the computer puzzles. And inside we get... There's more than one key in here. This one is small and it looks like it goes to some sort of machine. And this one has the Earth symbol on it. I think the Earth symbol matches the keyhole in a door on the A deck. Well, if that's the case, we probably don't need the Earth key right now. Alright then, Earth key. I'll just tuck you away deep in my pocket. Now as for the other key. Alright. Blank com. Parenthesis underscore parenthesis com. Interesting. It was just at that moment that he heard a voice behind him. It was Clover. Hey, Junpei, do you have a minute? He put the puzzle aside for the moment and walked over to Clover. What's up? I wanted to ask you something. Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother, right? Did you hear him say, like, anything weird? Why is she asking me this? Junpei wondered. The more he thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him. He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something, even a small something that would help her. However... Sorry, Clover, I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person or something like that, but that's about it. Okay. Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk away. Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if Snake, was he born... You're talking about his eyes? Yeah. No, he wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident. A really bad car accident. He couldn't see after that. And his arm. His arm? Yeah. My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. Okay. That's what happened. It's fake. It's not a real arm. The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm. That's tragic, but that is unbelievably valuable info. Is that all you wanted to ask me? Talking about her brother had clearly taken a great deal out of Clover. Junpei nodded. Look, I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff. Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Oh, this episode is going to be a long one. Thank you, Lotus, for going on your very, very long ramble about wireless brains. Okay, we're almost done with this escape room, though. We are getting some really valuable info here. This key, this shape sure makes it seem like it goes to this machine. Alright, I'm turning it on. Okay, the monitor's on now. And it's full of letters. Excellent. Then let's go ahead and check this out. It's showing some kind of warning. Power restored to experimental device. Emergency system will activate in the event of abnormal subject behavior. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Now we might be able to use these breakers, I think? The only thing about the room that's changed is that the lever is down now. Not very impressive. Okay, we did already pull that down and left it down. Clover, anything going on over there? Oh, and if you want to get the solution to the computer puzzle, you give the ethanol to Clover, and she will wipe off the black smudge on the table on the right-hand side, and the solution is underneath that. This is the monitor. There are a whole lot of cables under this table. How about there's something sticking out of the mannequin's head, like wires or something. What the hell were they doing in here? Huh? Why is she all quiet now? They were doing experiments on humans. Probably. Oh man, now she looks sad. Junpei, this thing in here is on now. Yeah, that's because we activated the power over on this side. Could you like play with it a little? Okay, yeah. I'll turn this dial here. Turn, turn, turn. I don't think it's working. Nothing happened. Well, maybe she missed something. I should ask her to look around the room again. Well, it's a rack. There's some cables on top. There's the sink. The monitor? No. The table? No. The mannequin? No. What else is there? There's something else we need Clover to do. Maybe if you increase the voltage. Roger, will do. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way to max voltage. Max voltage? Hey, wait, Clover! Oh, shit. What? I think, Oh no! Oh my god. This is bad. Oh my god! The mannequin's head! Oh man, that sounds like a fire alarm. God, what the hell? Fire detected. Fire detected. The emergency system will be activated. Evacuate the room immediately. Oh god. Clover. Green light. The control device for the electronic door lock. The green light is on. Okay. Junpei, look at the light. Yes, it's green. The emergency system is activated and disabled the lock. Now we can save Clover. Clover, get out of there. Now. Junpei! Come on, kid, jump. She's safe. Oh man, that smoke is some serious business. Time to close this door again, I think. Whew, Clover, are you okay? Are you hurt? Damn, she's coughing so hard she can't even talk. Of course I'm not all right. What the hell took you so long, you big jerk? I went right to the door. I got you out of there immediately. I know you're panicked, but please. I was almost dead. Sorry, I was going as fast as I could. You two can do this later. Right now we need to get the hell out of here. That fire's not gonna stay in that room forever. Yeah, let's get moving. I will see everyone next time as we get the heck out of here and on to rejoin with everyone else, I think. I'll see everyone next time for that.